Let's go on to other trade or business changes. Local lobbying expenses are not deductible. What are they aimed at? Lobbying primarily tribal councils. That cannot be deductible either, and so they've just clarified that one. Can't deduct fines and penalties. We couldn't do it. They had a clarification on that. And then can't deduct sexual harassment abuse settlements if there's a non-disclosure agreement. You can see that the tone in Congress is going to be that if you use a non-disclosure agreement in the future, and I bet you we're 2 years away, you can't get a deduction.
On all of the civil rights harassments. But right now in sexual harassment, I think you and I are going to see more of these on the tax return. So my client calls up and he says, can I meet you outside the office for coffee? I just have something to talk to you about. That's a red flag. He says, I have a client and it's so confidential I can't tell you the name of my client, but they have a sexual harassment lawsuit against them. And I need to know what the deduction looks like in that. And I said, well, he said, is the client an owner? No. He's a CEO, not an owner of the business. Said, how many employees? Just a few. Do the other employees know this was going on? And he said, it never happened. I thought, uh-oh, it's him. It's him who's got a sexual harassment complaint. And this is just the straightest, narrowest person. You know this person. He doesn't take an extra dollar on anything, let alone would it have been anything more than, no, what he says is it's his admin of 15 years and she's leaving and it's sort of a parting retirement income shot and she has an attorney and I believe him. And he says, I've got to have an NDA on it. I said, you have an NDA and you can't deduct the $50,000. You can't deduct it if you have an NDA on it. And he says, but I have to. He works a lot in the courts. He knows the judges and the attorneys, and because of the kind of business in it, he said, I have to have an NDA on it. I said, then you can't deduct it. And I thought, before I saw more of the explanations on this section, that maybe he could pay wages. He could say, you know, I'm going to pay your wages for the next 6 months, as, you know, like a severance. But it even says wages paid as a result of a sexual harassment claim or settlement with an NDA on it. Well, let's say, so I've got an insurance policy for employment practices, and that's pretty, he didn't happen to have one because it is really a small business, tiny business, but a larger business. The question is, on the insurance, you probably have to pay a deductible, a $10,000, $25,000 deductible. Would that be, because it's revolving around the NDA, I think that's not on sexual harassment only, that's not deductible, because that's really part of your settlement is that you are paying the first $5,000 or $10,000. You know the way our malpractice works, you're paying the first X dollars of the settlement. I would think that's not deductible either. But you have the insurance to keep that limited to a small amount. So you're in good shape on it. He didn't happen to have insurance. I didn't hear the final settlement amount, but I think he paid $50,000. I'm just telling you that we're going to see a lot more of these. And you're going to see them in, all of a sudden you're going to see other, and it's going to be a great big amount. You're going to see legal that went up 10 times. And you're going to go, whoa, what is this? And your client's going to hem and haw and say, I can't disclose it to you. And when they can't disclose, it's so private I can't tell you, it's not deductible. That's what it's going to be.